talk about rest. We get really focused in postpartum in like getting back to the work piece and really sort of forgetting about the rest. And I mean rest in different ways, not just sleep when the baby sleeps, which is, who does that anyway? It's that advice that everybody gives that no one actually follows because your laundry list is too long of things to do. What I mean by rest, here's an example. So I was working with a client yesterday that we were starting to introduce some sort of impact in the context of prolapse and leakage symptoms. And what we did is we dosed that particular activity to the point where she had like 1 or 2 out of 10 awareness of her symptoms or awareness of her prolapse. She stopped. She sat down, didn't stand around and talk, like sat her butt down for a solid 30 seconds. We repeated the same thing again. She was able to do more. Sat her butt down again for 30 seconds. Like sit down, rest your butt. And those of you that do like heavy lifting and Olympic lifting, you know what I'm talking about. You get like that 2-minute rest in between. That doesn't mean you stand around and talk to your friends. That means you sit your butt down on a box and you actually rest. Third round, she does even more. So that tells me a couple of things. One is that if she's able to do more repetitions of this particular impact activity each time, endurance is not her issue. It's coordination. It's her brain learning, oh, this is how you do this. But the only way we would have figured that out is if she had sufficient enough rest in between. So rest now becomes a variable, as well as the number of reps that we do of this particular activity, where we're trying to increase the number of reps and decrease the rest. Okay. Here's another context in which rest is completely underappreciated in all of this. Moms that try and work out, like balls out every freaking day. You take the time that you have and you just go balls out every day. So if you're lifting, maybe you're doing CrossFit every day of the week. If you're running, maybe, you're doing a zone 3 training and then the next year you're doing intervals, and like, you don't freaking rest. You know who you are. And some of you I've talked to you about this. Rest. Take a day off. Way my schedule is working right now, and I still have some tweaks to do, and of course we're going into summer. Monday I CrossFit. Tuesday I'm at work and I demo enough stuff. My Whoop says I usually get up around, I would say anywhere between 10 to 14 on their work rating, on their strain rating. And then I'm a chauffeur basically between the hours of 3 and 8. Wednesdays I CrossFit. Thursdays repeat what Tuesday is. Friday I get a long run or some intervals in. Saturday I rest, have family stuff. Sunday I do a long run usually. And so is it perfect? No, but there's variety. I'm not banging it out every single day of the week and not giving myself time to recover. And so I think moms have been taught that like rest is like this privilege, this like, you didn't do enough to deserve it. And we need to hone in on, it's not just sleep. It's just not napping when the baby sleeps. It's where can we alternate good quality work, good quality nutrition, and rest. And why that's important is back to the very first example that I gave you. If we added rest, she could do more. We outsmarted her brain and outsmarted her symptoms so she could actually do more. I think the context in which it makes sense, here's an analogy that might make sense. Those of you that have done wall balls before, let's say you've got 3 rounds, like 5 rounds of 60. How do you break that up so you're doing at the same pace the very first round that you are that last round of 50? And you're not going to blow it all out in the beginning. This is a chipper, right? You're going to and there's other stuff in there too. Like you're going to break it up. Maybe you do 3 sets of 20 or something like that, or even smaller bites and smaller sets. Why is it that makes sense, breaking it up and adding little rest bites so that we can continue for the long run? Why does that make sense to us? But like, if we go on a macro level and look at what you're doing on a daily basis or what you're doing with impact, like, why doesn't it make sense there? So think about what your biases are about rest. Do you see it as like a guilty pleasure, or is this a variable that you use to navigate symptoms? I'm curious to what you think. Hop in my DMs, let me know about rest. Do you do it? Do you overdo it? What do you feel?